Robert back here. There's already a couple of great videos on this Kamplite lantern out there. Gas under pressure. He's got us probably 3, maybe 4 videos on this. Really great videos. Daryl J. Carter. He's got a really great video. Couple parts, maybe 3 parts. And so now I'm going to do a video with my little twist on it. See if I can't get some little close-up views. And hey, let's tear into this thing. Okay, when I first got this lantern, I flushed out the tank with BBs and Coleman fuel. As you can see there, I got quite a bit of grit. You see dried around the edge of that cup. That all came out of this lantern. And for this type of lantern, that's not good. So anyway, I put fresh fuel in it and lit it for just a little bit, and it ran perfect. And I took it to the meet up in the mountains with me, and it burned about 30 minutes, and it just like I turned off the fuel. So y'all know what's going on here, man. That small pinhole in that fuel pickup tube is plugged. So hey, let's tear into this thing. First of all, let's dump this old fuel. See what comes out of it. Oh yeah, she's pretty cloudy. Not seeing much grit, but that's really cloudy. And there's still more in it. We haven't got the bottom yet. Filter this. You can see all of the grit to the side of the cup. Quite a bit still in the bottoms. Okay, I'm going to do this just a little bit different than my buddy Daryl did. He took the globe and everything off first. The studs that hold everything together, he took off after that. And that left the fuel line holding these 2 pieces together. So I'm going to start by removing this collar and removing the fuel line before I take the studs out. Just my luck, I try it that way, I'm breaking the fuel line. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, on his model you could just take the collar off and leave the valve on. But mine's just got a small hole in there. It's not open on the bottom like his was. And I think gas under pressure took his collar off before he took the valve off. But on mine, I'm not able to do that. I'm going to have to remove the valve first. 7/16 wrench. Turned out there really easy. That was simple enough. This little plastic container, I'm going to put all my parts in as I go. Now the valve's out. We can turn out this. Just got 1 screw. I think theirs had 2 screws holding this in. I'm going to have to see if I can find a replacement screw. This thing is kind of spring-loaded. I can tell that right now. These are springing out as I'm turning this, so hopefully I won't lose the one that I've got. Got it. Okay, as you can see, mine just has the hole in the middle. Pretty sure theirs were had an opening on the bottom where you could take that valve out later. You can see where our fuel valve attaches right here, or sorry, our fuel line. That is a 3/8. That thing was tight. Okay, now I've freed the fuel line. So now I can turn it up on its side. And there's the spacers that they were having trouble with. Taking that collar off first, I can see all the spacers. Turn it up on its side. Start by removing the, not sure what you call these. They're like little nuts, but they're made to be finger tightened. I'll pull them off of there. There's 3 of these that holds this globe on. I don't know where, somewhere I've got some that look just like that. Now this one's been replaced. Lucky on that one first try, 5/16. I don't like that on there. I'm gonna, I think I've got some of those laying around somewhere. It looks that same size. I'll try to find those and replace this. I don't like wrench tightening down against that globe. Alright, I'm holding the globe in place with my thumb. Pulling that ring off there. Again, reaching in with my thumb, holding the globe. Bringing the ring around. Now I can pull off the globe. I'm going to set this off the side for safekeeping. Okay, now I can just slide off the plate there, reflector plate. As you can see, a little burnt black there, so she's been flooding before she died. Give you all a good look at that. Okay, now I should be able to remove the 3 studs. That one's just turning out by hand. And I can reach in here with that screen or the collar out of place, and I can hold that spacer. Spacer's not going nowhere. Easy peasy. No fighting, no looking when they fall out. Hold on to them when you turn the studs out. One more to go. And they're going to be a booger in every crowd. Alright, that one's not wanting to turn by hand. Didn't really pinch them enough to mar or scratch or anything, just enough to get a little better grip than what I get with my finger. So again, I'm going to turn it back on its side. Hold the spacer. Okay, now I can remove the, tell you what, I'm going to get a picture of this real quick. Okay, I noticed when Darryl took his fuel line off and he went to put it back together, he was having trouble lining it back up the correct way, because you can see, I mean, just the way it's shaped. I mean, no matter which way you turn that, it's going to look like it goes in there right. So I took a couple of pictures, one from the top, one from the side, just so I can go back and look and make sure that get these back on right. Okay, let's go ahead and get this collar out of the way. Things on there kind of loose anyway. Wish I hadn't done that, but spacers fell out on me. There's the other one. Let that cool down just a little bit. She's still warm. Okay, there's the little screen that gets stopped up right there. I guess under the screen there is a tiny, tiny hole for the fuel pickup. And don't take much to stop it up. Right now, let's check to make sure I didn't damage any threads. Alright, that one looks good. Perfect. I think we can gently slide that screen off there. Yeah, she's pretty corroded up. You see it coming off of my fingers. Just going to gently, not put any pressure. Feel a little bit of movement in it. Play back and forth. Okay, I could feel a little bit of play in that tube, so I knew it had to turn. It would just barely turn back and forth just a little bit. So I started out the WD-40, and instead of making a mess with it, I got my can of Kroll and just put a few drops down in there, and I gently just worked it back and forth until I was able to lubricate them threads where I could turn it out by hand. So, wasn't too bad. All right. Thread it out. Take some carb cleaner. Okay, I can see the tiny hole they were talking about. Okay, I found a better way to do this. Without the straw, the end of that tube is tapered. Stick it right in my opening of the sprayer, hold my finger over the other end, get a good spray through that hole. There I go without my gloves again. I know somebody's going to get on me. About to spray that on the decal. I don't want to do that. Let's get this out of the way. See if we can remove this frame, cage, whatever you want to call it.
Simple enough. Get that out of the way.
See if we can remove these without using any heat. That one came out easy enough. Put it back in there for now to get this other one turned out. And this one looks like it's took on some heat. Well, it's coming out easy enough too, so I'm surprised on that one. just pulls out. Drop that one right back down in that hole for safekeeping. And I hate to ruin a good mantle. That's one of my pet peeves, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Okay, that should just slide out. Okay, now to generator. It's like a 9/16. Probably help if I hadn't took that apart first. So I wouldn't drop it back in there. Tighten that back down and loosen that generator nut. Give us something to hold on to. That done it. Set that off the side. Guessing that's going to come off there. Looks steel. Not having much luck getting that off there, and I don't want to crush it. Ain't no big deal. Would like to get in there and give it a thorough cleaning though. I'm gonna have to heat and quench it. Okay, when I was trying to move that internal from the generator, kind of bent that spring a little bit, and I was afraid to try to push this in there and damage that needle. So I taped it to this little piece of board, protect that needle, so I can drop it down in my parts here, and I don't have to worry about crushing the needle. Okay, the only thing left to do is remove this pump and check valve. Top screw, side, remove the bottom screw. Okay, I have had luck removing AGM and Kamplite check valves like this. I can't thread the anyway, I've had success removing them with the comb and check valve tool, just not putting the rod in it. So I'm just going to attempt to hold it steady. There we go. Started bumping in the camera there. Put that turned out of there. Tried to kind of mash down. I was turning to keep pressure on it. There's the Kamplite AGM valve. This is a two-piece design. Looks like a little coarser thread than what's on the Coleman. Yeah, definitely a little bigger around too. Let me drop that and I'll be a mess. Thread that back in there before I lose it. Okay, there's the complete disassembly of the Kamplite. We're going to make this the end of part 1. We'll come back for part 2 on the cleanup and reassembly. Okay, y'all know the routine. Like, share, subscribe. God bless.